he has to say today on Valentine's Day.
All right. So, Jay Smooth, we'll start off with you. What's your most important consumable?
Oh, my most important consumable comes from within. And I'll just leave it at that.
All right. That's deep. That's deep. And then Comps. Comps, what's your most important consumable?
It's got to be the med kit. I mean, you don't want to lose a crew member in an important situation.
Fair enough. All right, Jay Smooth, we're going to jump back over to you now. Ask about your team. How are you guys going to beat Apex today?
Nobody wants to hear about our team. Let me start this off with a little love connection tonight. Shame on you if you're watching this live. You better be DVRing this. Shame on me for even being here tonight. But I have the best wife in the world. Here we go. Love Connection by Senior Smooth. Rockstar and his cookies. Rookhill and his hat. Comps and Germ. Flack and Pub, battle buddies for life. Meadow and his playhouse. Don't need to say any more there.
Yeah.
Exec and Ruth, little old school. Bert and Ernie.
Ooh.
Wally and Ox.
Really?
Brewkill and Rockstar's mom.
You know what? You called that one.
Comps and other people's trophies. Maverick and Goose. Tofu and Clutch. Photo and everybody but Comps and Germ. Oh yes. I'll save some more for later. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay Smooth. That was beautiful. Comps, do you have any response?
No, I mean, that was pretty good. So I'll give him a round of applause.
All right, so the harshest critic in the entire league has just signed off on your poem, Jay Smooth. I think that's a real big plus right there, man.
All right, Comps, we touched about this.
I aim to please.
We talked about this after your match on Saturday, but why are you going to go over the whole roster shuffle that has happened with Apex?
Oh, well, basically, Drynet stepped down, and we picked up Vetra. So that's pretty much it.
So, and mostly motivated by the fact that External can't play consistently for the next couple weeks?
Yeah. We just needed to pick up another starter, and Vetra fit that description perfectly. So that's why we went for him.
Yep. Now, the question that everyone wants to know in regards to that is, once External's back and is able to play more, what's going to happen with the starting seven? Who's going to keep their spot?
Well, basically, whoever plays better. The luxury of having a competitive starting, I guess 8 now, is that everyone can do everybody else's role. So it's just Vetra's just the extra fire behind everybody else, so that they they keep performing to the level that they should be performing at.
Fair enough.
Thank you so much, guys. I think we're about to wrap this up. Jay Smooth, any final words before we head out?
Yeah, I got a few more love connections right here.
Oh, okay.
Mornblade and his hat. Tarho, chicks from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And our number one, Comps and his washing machine, Tumble Cycle.
A love story.
There it is, boys. I would say, Comps, I'll see you in the danger zone, but we know that's not true. I'll leave it at that. The smooth smack is out. I'll see you in the danger zone.
See you in the battlefield. Comps, gentlemen, we'll see you on the battlefield. And that is why Jay Smooth is the smoothest.
Can't knock him.
I mean, random music started playing, Rockstar. Random sexy music started playing when he started speaking.
It is Jay Smooth and it is Valentine's Day.
I don't know where that came from. Music. There it is again. Is he still around? Is he? It's gone. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. Okay, we can keep going. But like when he showed up, you could just feel it in the air, man. Like,
He is Jay Smooth. I mean, that's all you really need to say. It is.
there was
Jay
love on
Smooth.
the wall next to him and everything. That was beautiful. Okay. I got to snap out of this. I think he caught me. I think I'm back on track. We're about to get into a match for Apex versus Rifle. This is difficult, Rocks. This is very
We're
difficult.
going
to
on
snap
to
out of
Mines
it.
first.
Mine's first. So,
A map that Apex really haven't played a whole lot this season. It's one of the maps where they really haven't played it much. They played it a lot last season, but this season they haven't gone onto it a whole lot. And then Rival, they've played it a good bit, but not well.
yeah, they've had a rough time with all of it. And well, against Apex, we'll have to see. That's all I really feel like I can say confidently is, well, if Rival decides to roll out with something crazy, we'll see it when it happens, right?
Yep.
Aside from that, Apex is a super dominant team, and based on their track record and based on the playstyle of Rival, you could actually expect that this could be the fastest match in the WGLNA the entire season.
Last season we had a match that ended in 24 minutes, so we'll have to see if that can keep up with that record and or pass it.
Yeah, because the thing is with Rival is even if they're down, they're not slowing down. They can't stop and they won't stop.
Well, let's see how hard Rival go into the danger zone as we get ready for our first map.
Mines, a small summertime map with lots of hills, rocks and other cover. The teams start the battle in the usual locations, but the base locations are different. One is located in the bottom part of the village and the other one is in the water. One of the key objectives is the center hill. That's why the teams will often select fast vehicles and tanks with strong turrets for cover.
All right, Rockstar. Any surprises?
Well, besides the fact that we have 4 IS-4s and comps playing one of them for Apex, 2 183s and a T-49. So either IS-4 heavy tank or derp gun is basically what Apex bringing out. Meanwhile, Rival, an IS-7, 4 Batchats, and 2 T-10s.
Okay, so Apex has shown up, and tell me if I'm wrong. These are what are called fun time strats.
Yeah, now this is, look, guys, we don't want to give any of our normal strats away or any of our strats that we've been working on away before the live finals. So we're going to come out here and we're going to do crazy stuff that we should still win with because we're just that good.
Well, also, a 4 IS-4 2FV T-49 strat, thinking about it for a second, I realized that might actually work. That could work.
They could just sit back. They have 2 183s to cover them, and look at all the batch shots from Rival. All it takes is one little peak that they shouldn't make, and that 183 is going to send a Hess shell flying into them.
Yeah. But with that, IS-4s and E100s are the 2 tanks, I think, that if you throw bat chats at them, they're the only things that can survive, right?
And already Commander J takes 900 damage.
Man. What was it? Who fired? That was Nitz. That was not even an FV. That was Nitz. And there, Oxmathis takes a lot of damage trying to peek up. And the bat chats, Tesla, Commander J, they're going to start looking for something. And not quite find it yet, but this strat is...
Well, and just look at the HP difference to start. Before any damage was traded, with those 4 IS-4s, that's 2,500 damage apiece. So 10,000 damage just from those 4 tanks. The 4 bat chats from Rival, only 1,800. So that's 700 less a tank if you want to compare those 4 to 4. So the HP difference right there is already astronomical that Rival has to try to overcome this game.
And that's baffling to me. It's a defense strat. That is for sure. But whether or not that works, oh goodness, we'll see how this goes because it'll be a minute. So it'll be a minute before Rival tries to figure anything out. So
I don't think they're going to take a minute because they're already rotating a bat chat down the one line with no one in position to really spot him. So if he can get down into J1, he can actually open up some shots on the back of these heavy tanks and maybe make this work for Rival. They have to do something to start chipping away at this.
Yeah, Knight does go for one shot. Doesn't look like a connection, though. He's not able to get the angle he wants. But I want to hear what Rival's talking about, what they're thinking. And we're going to go ahead and jump into a listen-in to see what's up.
One split.
Is he tucked in?
Mostly. He's vaulted from the 1 line or the 0 line hilltop.
He was looking at the 1 line.
Okay. I mean, I think we could take 3 bats, push 8-1, kill the 49, kill the 183, have loaded bat after I kill K4 maybe, but I don't know. It's hard to pressure this. We need to try to get to their backside though and not fight these guys in the front. So it's just how we want to go about doing that. In theory, could we sneak our heavies around to 8 line?
Probably.
Yeah, why not have the heavies like to the 8 line? Go down 8 line.
We'd have to go really well. Yeah, Bats, you need to be backed off a bit and ready if they push because the heavies are all recovering.
I don't know. I think we're.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit back just in case.
I'm gonna go up on the hill and drop off. Just redline it. No reason not to, I don't think.
I think we're still gonna get lit.
Find out.
Gonna do all this and get lit.
You won't get lit here.
IS4s are pretty blind.
Yeah, he has optics. You know,
So-
it's comps.
I got lit.
Right, but for our next move, if you guys...
I got lit.
Don't cross that.
Don't
Go
come
back,
up.
I think.
Everyone on the stream is gonna be like, "What the fuck are they doing?"
Stand up.
Yeah, they're gonna push them.
They're coming forward.
Just drop off Bats. I think we counter push in actually.
They haven't pushed in yet.
Because the British TDs are going to be back. I think.
Huh.
So bats still drop off.
I mean, try to get some damage off and then drop.
They're not gonna be there forever. They have to.
Yeah, they're pushing around the south side of the hill.
Oh my.
I'm gonna go 1 line.
Canadian Impact just shot unknown.
Oh no.
That was bats no.
Don't worry, Rival. We know exactly what you're doing, and all of Stream does too. We heard the thought process, so it doesn't sound as goofy as it looked. Meanwhile, Heavy Tanks now finally in the fight, trying to catch up. Trades still not going well. About the same amount of HP down as when they started.
It's just a rough. It's a rough defense to defend against, man. It's just IS4s with armor and hit points, and there's a lot of them. They're all grouped up, and everywhere else there's FVs. So between the IS4s, the FVs, and the T49, simply the lineup that Rival brought is at a huge disadvantage. It's not designed to take this on.
It has to. Well, the thing is Rival didn't open up the map at all. Once they had the hill, they needed to leave some tanks from the hill right off the bat, and they needed to open up different angles. Get that tank down into the 1 line sooner. There wasn't anything spotting it, or take the risk. If you don't open up those angles and you allow 4 IS4s to drive straight at you point blank in bat chats, it's not going to go well for you.
No, it's not. And, well, that didn't go well for Rival, as they're going to lose everyone but Knight to start this one off. Knight, in the meantime, looks like he's going to be off in the south, where he's getting, well, wrecked. And Apex is going to ace battle number 1. So, IS4 strat works. I don't know if there's a lot to say about it. The thing is, when you take a bunch of mediums like Bat Chats up against IS4s, you have to be ready for that, right? You have to bring heat shells, stuff like that, or bring the APCR heat mixture, because if you're fighting the IS4s in the front, heat. If you fight them from the side, APCR, right? In this case, I wish, if I were a Bat Chat, I'm hoping I brought a clip of heat or two, right? Because I'm gonna, because I want to put that into the turrets of those IS4s.
The standard loadout we see out of Bat Chats a majority of the time is 25 and 5. It only carries 30 shells. You bring 25 APCR, 10 heat. I know you do something a little different, being a Bat Chat player yourself.
Sometimes as a joke, I bring HE.
Fair enough.
But it has worked before. When you fight 50Bs and other Bat Chats, surprisingly enough, it doesn't do half bad.
If you have the time to reload and keep the engagement away from you, sure.
It's mostly for sniping silliness.
Yep, Comp's putting up 48 fantasy points in his first game of the season, picking up 3 kills. Brett in the 183 not really able to get into that fight a whole lot. And that's going to be 1-0 in favor of Apex.
And that it is. They're going to swap sides. And in just a moment, we'll see how that goes with Rival on defense. But Apex is going to start this one off with a slow defense. I was hoping that we'd see the fastest match in history, but, well, with an IS4 FV strat, you're not even going to reach the middle quite that quick.
No, unless the other team drives straight up and over in the middle into you, which isn't out of the question because it is
actually
Rival.
a strategy that Rival has employed in the past.
Yep. So, not out of the question.
No question. It's happened. They've done it. It's a thing they do.
They haven't done it much this season, and maybe that's part of the reason why they're struggling.
You know what? You might have just figured it out. Go back to the old ways. Just YOLO strats, hold my beer tactics.
Speaking of hold my beer tactics, Apex, 2 mouses, 4 bat chats, and a T49.
Well, I think the Mausen are holding all the beers.
Yeah, that would be a safe bet because no matter where they are in that tank, they're not going to fall over even if it's moving at full speed. Meanwhile, Rival, 2 IS-7s, 3 bat chats, a TVP, and an M40-43.
Although your beer would be warm, wouldn't it? You wouldn't want that.
More than likely.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I take back that. I wouldn't put a beer on a tank. It would probably get hot. That would be bad. It would taste horrible.
Yeah, it would not be something you want to do.
Yeah.
Have you seen the completely off topic here but related to tanks? The stabilization on a Leopard 2, you can actually put a beer on the tip of the gun and have it drive at full speed, and because the stabilization of the gun works so well, it will not spill the beer.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. Most modern tanks have stabilization like that.
Yep, and stabilization is something that aren't on a whole lot of tanks technically in this game. Now,
well,
the game does it in a way, but historically, the only early tanks that had some sort of advanced stabilization system like that, the M4 Sherman had one, but it was very hard to operate and wasn't often used.
Very simple next to what we have these days. Yeah.
And Nit's already taking some damage.
Yeah, Executus up in the high ground, managed to get Sync 2, goes for a third, puts it into dirt, and that's going to pin Nits in place. Also, by the way, note that Flak and Zakum are looking to enter the hill right now, and if they're able to do that, Nits is going to be in a rough place, but looks like Nits is going to take a shell. Executus, oh, look at that. You've got a double jump. Canadian Impact and God Emperor Brett. It looks like Vetro might have either helped boost or missed the jump, but we've got 2 bat chats up here against Executus. I don't think anyone spotted them from Rival. So,
well, Canadian Impact spotted now. Takes 477, but he's going to drive up point blank to Executus to try to get some shots into him. And now looking at the Mouses, they're pushing around on the 8 line, and they're going to close distance with Cap here in a moment.
Just in that slow roll to the east side. They'll see what they can get. Artie, in the meantime, from Knight, is going to have to worry about his positioning and find the perfect spot because he'll be the linchpin in trying to hold this.
We have a third tank up on the boost of Vetro. Vetro saying, hey, you guys could boost. I want to boost too. And he gets up here, and now 2 tanks on Cap. And now this actually isn't a... Okay, it's definitely different from Apex, but if you look at it, the bat chats up here can cover the Mouses. The Mouses can sit on the Cap down there and get the Cap pressure going. Comps is going to turn sideways and provide some cover for Wallhacks to hide behind, and already puts a shot for 1,000 into Comps. Zakum pokes around the corner, doesn't take any damage, and now the Cap pressure, 3 on Cap, 20 seconds for Rival to respawn.
Yep. Oh, a nice cover fire from Rival's going to stop God Emperor Brett cold, and that actually might allow Executus to get the kill, and he does. Canadian follows it up, but question is, can he take another shell? Is he going to risk it?
And another bounce from Zakum. He's not going to be reloaded in time. Another bounce from Flak. 5 seconds. Apex about to cap this out.
They might just. And Executus is going to look for a shot. Tries to find it.
And that's a cap out. That's done. Apex get the win.
Wow.
Tank's dying, so it's still extending, but the cap is done. So now as soon as 5 seconds go by without a tank dying, right there it is. That's Apex getting the cap to make this 2-0.
Oh, wow. That was a funny strat. I have to say that's actually a funny strat because the thing is the mouse just rolls super slow the entire time and just goes straight to cap. They don't stop. And that's what's beautiful about it because the entire time you're watching all of this activity, all these bat chat jumps happening, all these distractions and just crazy stuff, and then the mouse just roll onto the cap and nothing stops because no one can.
Yep. Now, what I will say is I am laughing at all of you in Fantasy who took someone from Apex because they just capped out. They still got the win, but no one did any fantasy points except for Ox sitting on cap with almost 80 cap points.
Didn't you drop Ox?
Yeah, I did. Now, I don't regret it because the earlier match went way longer than this. So even if he has 5 really good games, it's only 5 games at most he's going to get.
Yeah.
So still, a lot of cap points going on there. And then looking at the second page, pretty much... I don't want to say nothing interesting, but most of the tanks, especially being a cap out and Comps, not really being in a position to get any shots off, blocking for Wally, it ends up with almost no fantasy points.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about Rival matches that I always love, is the fact that it doesn't matter if Rival's losing, winning, or whatever. It's always interesting to me. It's always fun. You know,
It's always interesting.
Yeah, there's always something dragging me in and keeping me interested in the match. And that usually has to do a lot with the play style of Rival and the fact that, well, they can be a little off the wall. And what's great is that a team like Apex feels comfortable enough to play some a little bit stranger strats, things that are usually a little bit less common, not necessarily weaker, not necessarily inferior, but workable.
After 2 battles,
Yeah.
we've used 9 minutes of game time plus probably a minute to 2 minutes for the break in between. So we're about 11 minutes right now, and it's 2-0.
Okay.
So they need to step up the tempo a little bit if they want to break that 24-minute match.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get straight to it because we're about to go to map number 2.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
All right, Rocks. 4 mouse!
A 183 and 2 Tier 9 bats, 4 Apex, Rival, 250Bs, 2 E100s, an IS-7, a Batchat, and a Udis. The wall of German steel is about to just drive headlong without stopping. I'm expecting a triple tap R and go strat from Apex. Look at how much HP they bring over Rival just from the start.
That's 17,200 hit points, for those of you who can't see in game yet, against 14,550. Now, if you do the math, you'll realize that's a lot of hit points.
A lot of hit points is, yeah, I guess you could say that is just a boatload of hit points.
Technically boatload, like as a unit of measurement, a boat's load. Because I believe actually a mouse is too heavy to be transported on most watercraft.
It's too heavy to be transported on most ground. It would just sink into ground.
This is a fun fact actually about the mouse. The mouse is a tank that actually wouldn't have been able to go around much of Germany even after it was deployed because it can't cross most bridges, it can't ford most rivers, and most ground that it would run into the same problem that you probably would have seen in World War I with the Mark tanks from various marks from Great Britain. They all just sunk into the mud.
Which is why the development of both the T-95 and the object, I believe it's the 279 from Russia, why they had 4 tracks, because they were trying to be, they wanted to have armor, they wanted to have a lot of weight, but they needed to find a way to spread out the weight across the ground. And so by doing that was adding more surface area for the tracks. And they made it so they didn't necessarily sink or bog down into certain terrain.
Exactly. And so things like the Pershing were just about right. Things like the Panther were just right to be able to cross bridges, navigate most roads, and be functional in an actual combat zone. So, fun facts there for you. And actually, have you checked out the Chieftain's video? You can go to Wargaming's YouTube page, check out Chieftain's YouTube videos, and get yourself caught up on that history. Chieftain's a really knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, both Chieftain and
Say at least.
the Chieftain and the Challenger, the British counterpart to the Chieftain, both have some very interesting videos on a lot of different tank history and development of tanks and stuff like that. If you're into that sort of thing,
that sort of thing, I think that's what everyone here is into.
If you're here watching tanks, chances are you're going to find those videos fascinating.
Yeah, I think that to put it bluntly. But the opening moves now, we've got a little cap pressure from Apex, and the mice are screening the cap. So there's not a whole lot you could do to this. There's going to be, I guess the E100s defending Flak and Zakum can deal a decent amount of damage and perhaps keep the cap delayed. But, oh, look at this. Knight's taking damage. Canadian Impact elsewhere on the map in his Batchat AP. They're taking on Executus, chasing him off. Just dangerous enough. Just barely dangerous enough to kind of make him worry about it.
These E100s actually making pretty short work of these mouses. Vetro about to go down. He's a one-shotter. Zaku's going to take him down.
You know, this one might go rival.
They might pull this out. They've evened it up. They've chipped through the HP that Apex brought, and now it's just 2 E100s against the single mouse of Germ. They're going to push around. the two mouses that push through the screen are going to come back and try to help out Germ here. He's doing what he can to angle his armor, but end of the day, that's 2,000 damage onto that mouse. Some shots going into Flak. Zakum's still out in the open.
I think Unknown One's going to have the kill there, and he is able to pick up that one. Very difficult against Miles. The armor's tricky. And Commander J, I'm loving this. 50B coming in from the west, while all the rest of the heavies are able to put damage into God Emperor Brett. He will go down.
And this is going to be Rival saying enough memes, no more of these silly lineups.
We're going to stop this. Take us seriously. Bring better strats. And there we go. There's one more. Canadian Impact on the cap. Gets taken down by Tesla. And, well, Nitz is the only one left alive. Let's see what he can get. 724 into Tesla.
Now it is all down to this 183 versus 5 tanks left for Rival.
It's 5 Rival, actually. 5 Rival.
5 Rival. Is that what I just said?
You said 4 Rival.
Oh, 5. 5-4 Rival.
I got you. All right, that's going to do it. Battle number 3.
That's going to make it 2-1. Rival getting more rounds off of Apex than most people in the league recently.
Absolutely. So,
in fact, of Apex's last 5 games, they had one that went to overtime versus Eclipse. All the other 4 matches, 5-0s. Rival already off to a better start than most of the league.
Yep. Congratulations, Rival. You've raised the bar for all of us. And you know what? I'm fairly certain Apex wasn't super serious with that strat. I had trouble taking that strat seriously. But being the best team in the league, I can understand against Rival that you might play it a little looser.
Well, you have to remember when you're Apex right now, you have the live finals coming up here. You do not want to have to go back and use a strat and then come back to the live finals and right before it have to change things up because you're worried about people countering you out. And look at the fantasy points. Flak, 120 fantasy points, getting a lot of resets onto Apex, as well as Unknown One, 107. Or not Unknown One, Zakum, 107. And then Unknown One, 3,200 damage, 1 kill, 80 fantasy points. Not bad there.
There's going to be that one guy tonight, like you were saying before the broadcast, who picks up stupid amounts of fantasy points off of one player like that. Like, there'll be that one guy who picks Flak swimming in like 500 fantasy points at the end of this.
Yeah, I can definitely see it.
I'm waiting for it. Because, like, if this keeps up kind of like at the pace it is, 2-1, 2-1, this will go long enough.
Definitely. I mean, it just depends if Apex decide to serious things up and not necessarily goof around as much as they are. But as I say that, I can tell you that's not going to be the case here in a minute.
I like this. Crusader SP, I'm seeing it get picked up. And we're going to go back into Ghost Town one more time. Rockstar, what is Apex doing?
Like I said, they're just saving strats at this point. They don't want to have to use new strats that no one's seen before just to give them away and give more info to other teams. So they're going to do stuff like this. A mouse, 2 Batchets, a 183, 2 JPEs, and a Crusader SP. Meanwhile, Rival, 2 50Bs, 3 E100s, and 2 Tier 9 Batchets.
This is what we've decided, ladies and gentlemen, to do with our Valentine's Days. What am I even watching? I understand Rival strat, but the Yagpanzi E100s are... I mean, it's like you wanted to one-up yourself on a mouse strat, right? You wanted to bring a bunch of mouse and then just bully your opponent with hit points. And then you want to one-up yourself to make that a little bit more effective. You're going to bring Yagpanzi 100s.
But I like what Rival are doing. They're saying, all right, you're going to bring a lot of HP, so we're going to bring a lot of HP to make sure we can trade with you and be just fine, and bring in the 3 E100s with those giant guns on them.
And, I mean, this actually, Brox, this is your wheelhouse. This is Heavy Tank's dreams. This is everything you would have hoped for.
What's not a dream is staring at a bunch of JPEs. This thing can just dump out shot after shot of 1,000 damages at a time.
And shots going out. Germ taking a little bit of damage on the southwest side, trying to peek out and spot what he can, but no, he does not see Knight. He doesn't see Tesla. And for that, he's going to take one single shell. And actually, he's going to try and escape. Is anyone going to... Yes! 1 shell into him for 321. Second one goes into the dirt. And it looks like Tesla's going to throw herself onto reload. And this is going to reset for Rival. They're going to try and find a new angle, new place to engage, find a weak spot, take advantage. But how scary is it going to be to round every single corner? Like, that's going to be dangerous, right? There's no doubt.
The difference between the 183 and the JPE is the JPE has extremely high penetration, meaning if it hits something, it's probably going to go through it. The 183, you can possibly get lucky and have the Hesh not pen if it connects. And plus, the 183 is just not anywhere near as accurate.
You know, let's break down some of these lines of fire right now, because I need to see where these guys are aiming. So, God Emperor Brett, and I'll pull up the minimap, this will work. So, God Emperor Brett, and his Yag Panther can fire south, or he can fire, what do you call this zone right here, Rox? What do you call that? I've never heard a name reference for that. It's like the high ground.
The south end at 2 cap is typically what a lot of people refer to it, or just along the G line, really.
He's covering that way, and he's kind of covering around to the south. He can flex up and cover other angles, but for the most part, he's got this half of the map. On the other side, the other Yagpons. There's his battle buddy. He's looking off this way. And he'll be able to cover anything moving around from the east side or whatever. But it looks like we're going to see some crap pressure, so I'm actually not going to get to really explore how this plays out. I'm sorry. All right, already coming in. We've got one shot onto Flak, Zakum, and Unknown One. And with 10 seconds left, Ox is going to be able to get there just in time to probably get that reset. And 3 bounce/missed shots onto him as everyone just lets it go. And, well, that didn't work. That didn't work at all.
Knight goes down for Rival. Or actually takes down Canadian Impact. JPE is trying to get some shots off, but not able to get any connections. Commander J taking some damage. Unknown One also taking a lot of damage. And this is not looking good for Rival.
Yeah, Rival's going to have a rough time doing anything with this Commander J being down, but Zakum, who's next? Zakum probably, I'd expect. Oh, a lot of damage coming in here. Oh, 50Bs look like they've finally shown up. Knight and Tesla starting their engagement to God Emperor Brett, but should they be a little more afraid? I would think so.
I mean, there's JPEs. You do not want to be on the other end of those.
No, not at all.
And keep in mind, we haven't seen Vetro yet. The 183 is still just lurking around as well.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Here's Vetro. Oh, and he doesn't have a target. That's unfortunate.
And Rival just being chipped away at slowly as Brett does take down Zakum.
Oh, Vetro's moving in. He's going to... Oh, no, he's not. He's driving away. Oh, he's driving to find Executus.
Fox is going to come around the corner, put a shot into Flak. Flak's going to bounce off the front of the U100, snaps the shot off just a little bit too late, and Rival down by about half the HP right now.
Yep. And well, this will be a moment more, but 50B's finally showing up. Look, Tesla's on the way to take down God Emperor Brett, and I think she understands that she could just drive forward. She doesn't really have to wait for anything. Move around on the flank. Perfect right there. And then don't mess up the track shot. Ugh. Missed the track shot. Actually, that's going to mean Petro sneaking that one in. He's able to get a kill. And the last one alive. Ooh, 2 more alive. Knight's running. Seeing where he can get off to. And Executus is also running. That AP can do as much as he can, but unfortunately, it's not enough. Apex
just going to drive in here and just clean out these last few tanks for Rival.
Straight bully strats, man. Those just bully strats. You just show up, I'm bigger than you, I win. Rival tried to kind of posture up, you could say, make themselves seem bigger and stronger.
If you want to defeat this sort of strat, what you have to do is you have to force cap pressure a bit more subtly than that, and then you need to set up more guns in position to punish them where they're peaking. You're not worried about capping, you're not worried about cap tank taking damage, you're worried about punishing the tanks that are going to pop up and get those resets. And Rival were just too focused on trading head-to-head, letting those JPs just give them the frontal armor over the hold down, and then just try to trade with them that way, which is not what you want to do against a turretless tank destroyer such as the Doom Cannon.
This is true. So, 3 minutes 54 left. Executus is the last man standing, and his job now is to go out in a glorious fireball. Can he take on Wallhex, who has apparently been designated the champion to represent the team? And it looks like Wallhex will not stand up to Executus today.
He tried, though. A for effort.
B for effort.
What could you have done differently there?
Well, if he'd won, I would have given him an A. But like, if I give him an A for effort, there's no better grade to give him, right?
Well, you give him an A for execution.
Well, no.
That was for effort.
No. Well, the A is the grade, right? Anyway, he's dead. Executus goes down. Apex picks up battle number 3. But like, you see where I'm going, right? Like, if you give someone an A for effort, I mean, that's cool. But A for effort should like, you succeeded too, right? I feel like
well,
B for
but
effort.
you can have different grades in different categories. He tried, he went for it, didn't pull it off. So he got a C in the execution category, and he got an A in the effort category.
I feel like it was a B in the effort category.
Okay, fine. We'll go with that, Randall. You get your way. It was a B.
It's a B. I'm not giving him an A for that.
Wallhex heard it here first. It was a B performance.
Look, that's still a solid GPA. I mean, he can do it.
Not going to keep him on track to the Dean's List, though.
He can get it back. He can do makeup work or extra credit, something like that.
And that's going to make it 5-3 in favor, or excuse me, 3-1. Already getting ahead of myself. 3-1.
5-3 was the scoreline for top tier Eclipse. I think he got mixed up for a second.
And now we're going on to Ruinberg, and it's going to be Apex defending on Ruinberg.
Well,
and look at all those fantasy points. Fox still managing to farm almost 150 fantasy points from this one game alone. Already kind of regretting dropping him.
Yep. I'm just going to remind you every single time he does great, because you said you were going to remove him because you didn't expect he'd be able to put up the fantasy points today. But surprise, surprise, he's been in every battle so far.
Because there's just been a lot of HP on the field, and he's just able to do extremely well just sitting there farming, playing that mouse, and somehow not taking damage from 3-100 staring at him from point blank.
That's because he has the best jukes ever. Did you see it? Mouse jukes?
He pulled forward, backed off second. They all fired, missed, went over his head. And he
exactly. Genius. All right. Well, we're getting ready now to go to Ruinberg, so this will be the final map maybe for Apex. We see a lot of the time that Apex is able to do just fine on attack or defense on Ruinberg, but Rival and Ruinberg, I want to look at their past, and it's not so good. Not so good.
Yep, well, we'll have to see if maybe they can get another win here as we head into our, I don't even remember what battle this is, our 5th battle of the series.
Ruinberg, a mixed type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the centre square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village when playing a heavy setup. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
All right, Rockstar, talk to me about these lineups.
Apparently Apex liked their tea because they brought nothing but British tanks.
I like it. All right, guys, here's the strat. I'm calling it right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Timer just started. These guys started moving. It's going to be tea time strat, which is this. The tea time strat is the classic strategy where you bring all British tanks and then you sit very still. You find one position and you sit there, and what you do with your team
is you drink your tea while you all sit there waiting for their team to make a play,
and you put on obnoxious accents. It's actually a thing. Rockstar, you have to believe me. This happens. This is real life.
Rival coming in with 3 113s, 2 bat chats, an STRV 103B, and an RU 251.
All right, Rockstar, I want to know what Apex is doing, what they're thinking. We're going to go to a listening with them. Take it away.
Could be a split.
We should probably see if we can
Sturb and mid, probably.
Amelia.
Yeah.
Plus. So they're doing their comms this time. All right, cool.
Well, it could actually no, it's ours.
It's us.
It's
We just need lights
Oh,
down
it is?
3 on.
Yeah, because
All right.
guys.
Okay, let's go spot.
Execute order.
Somebody pop flash me in. Let's go.
I'm going middle road.
Pop the
183 is just sitting north, I guess. I got lit leaving. They throw the
They
bat
just
north.
rush B, so we have to defuse. Come on.
There's
Yeah,
no
dude.
bats north.
Just
I'm
get
spotting
lights.
B. I'm spotting B. I'm gonna get fucked for
Nice,
it.
nice.
There shouldn't be a lot south then. Oh, okay. Maybe it's just the RU then.
Oh, threat. Love
Hooray!
I had to spot it. I'm also spotting it.
Oh, there's something in the middle.
North,
You
north,
gonna
north.
die? Are you
No.
north?
Well, if something's in the middle, I'm fucking dead anyway. But no one else is gonna get there to spot it.
Nice.
Nice one shot. Lamau.
I fucking.
Oh, wait,
I
where's
didn't
the
even
stair?
check.
No,
Nick,
Okay,
can't we
guys,
just
just get the
cross?
fucking low HP
yeah,
and give me
can't
the
you just
fucking.
cross and farm?
Yeah, Nick, cross.
I am farming them right now.
They're gonna push. They're pushing.
Yes. Bat. No, bat in the middle. Bat in the middle.
Wait, somebody get your HP in here. Help me.
Coming.
Oh, Brett.
What the fuck?
I think we need to cross next.
Attract
Going.
flag. Flag
Go,
is
go.
perma.
Oh my
Oh
god.
shit.
Okay, never mind. You're not.
It's
I'll
going
take,
at
I'll
you.
take the shot. I'll take the shot. Just go.
Team!
Sturb is on the zero line. Sturb is on the
Distract.
zero line.
Kuma distract.
Someone shoot him again. Oh, shoot him again. Now, give me the kill.
Okay.
I'll get this.
I'll
Shoot him
I'll
again.
shoot him.
Shoot him again. Nice. Nice.
I think that bat's
Flag
reloading.
is
Alex.
2
Put
shot.
one more
Yeah,
flag.
he
Put
shot at
one
me
flag.
like 5 times.
I'm shooting him now.
He still has a couple more shots.
I'll eventually make it to the battle.
Distracts.
I fucking.
Brett!
God damn it.
Kill him.
Oh my god, Brett.
I
you
got the
failed
kill.
me.
Shoot the other guy.
Kill him.
Serves on zero line?
Yeah, he shot at me.
Shoot him through the building.
Running in, boys.
I'm going for it.
Up.
Loading Hesh.
And Apex doing a great job at resecuring that B site. I mean 2 cap, sorry.
That was fun. You know what? There's something about rival matches that always seems to be really fun, and they really do bring the gameplay. And I gotta give it to Apex for having a little fun too.
And they literally just drove to the Delta Village and pretty much just sat there with all their tanks. The 183 got the nice one shot onto J Smooth. Probably a Hesh shell.
You know,
connection there.
and what's funny is the FV strat like that is legitimately dangerous because there's a lot of DPM there, right? That's a lot of damage.
It's a lineup I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen more often, minus the 183 and the Crusader, because
yeah.
the 215B has 2,500 HP, plus it has some of the highest DPM of any of the Tier 10 heavy tanks.
Yep.
So the combination as such allows you to just go, best direction is forward. We saw it a lot, actually, out of Tornado Rocks, first season of Tier 10.
Yeah.
They would just bring heavy tanks, and they would just drive at people, especially on Ghost Town, and just go straight through them. And yeah, you may put a lot of damage, but 2,500 HP, it's a lot to shoot through, and especially if you're bringing 50 Bs,
Yep.
you may kill one of them, but then you have to deal with 5 laser cannons of high DPM just in your face, boom, boom, and it worked really well for them multiple times.
Yeah, I love playing personally in brawl strats because the thing is, if you can at least just get the engagement on your terms,
Yeah, and
usually
that's
come
the
out
tricky
ahead.
part is dictating the play with that sort of lineup. But especially in a map like Ghost Town, or in this case Ruinberg, where you can set up well, you know that you have all your guns together, and you can make some sort of push without paying too high a toll. You can get in their face, and you're going to have the HP and the DPM to win those brawls. Even if Rival had brought, say, I don't know, 4 or 5 mouses, the 215Bs, I still think would have come out ahead of that, just because the DPM is so much better.
Yeah, and there's actually something about FVs that I remember someone telling me about, and I didn't really get to ever prove it, is have you ever thought about, because it's a rear-mounted turret, fanning them out and actually, like, taking one of them, putting him on a corner, and using his hull as cover? Taking the next one and kind of wedging it just so his turret is able to pick over the next one, and then the next one over the next one.
It's a different style of echeloning that you kind of have to do.
Exactly, but it's a very weird one because it ends up looking kind of like a fan more than it looks like a standard echelon.
Right.
Because used to echelon in like T110s.
Where you just side by side.
Yeah.
One person, first one peeks out just a little bit, second one peeks over his shoulder on the right, and so forth. And that way you avoid, hopefully, putting shots into your teammates.
Yeah.
However, when one of the tanks in front isn't paying attention, or they need that extra little degree to get the thing, they're not really rehearsed on it. They haven't paid attention to their team.
You have to rehearse
and they
those
pull
moves.
forward, and they just eat a bunch of damage for no reason. And I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to assume we're good right now.
Ute has continued to break things. He's decided to visit us today to bless us with his presence, and as such, everything has gone to
3 IS-7s, 2 140s, and 2 T-50-41s out of Apex. Rival, 2 113s, 3 50Bs, a bad shot, and an RU-251.
You know what, Rockstar? I'm actually going to interrupt for just 1 second and read off a few tweets. Actually, some Facebook feedback we've got. We've got Jeffrey Banks. Thanks for reaching out. He says his favorite is the automatic fire extinguisher. Says the rarest one to earn, automatic fire extinguisher. That's his favorite. Jacob Smith, anything that adds to crew efficiency. So
No
another vote for rations.
No one is a big fan of removal of speed governor or something else.
The removed speed
some oil.
governor kind of fell out of style around the time that tanks that were fast enough to go the max possible speed in World of Tanks.
The only time where I've seen the speed governor removed consistently is the Object 261. Get a little bit of extra speed rotating around.
Have you been watching my Object 261 play? Because I've had the same remove speed governor on my Object 261 since the game came out.
It's one of those things I've seen a lot of times, especially when you have artillery players such as Tessie on the North American server who have like 20,000 games in their 261. Little tips and tricks you pick up from.
Yeah, it's worth it. I used to run it when I would T-54 scout. It's the only way to make that medium go quite fast enough. You could actually make a strong argument to put that on an object.
Unfortunately, it still has the downside of if you run it for too long and you make too many sudden changes, it can damage your engine.
You just have to cycle it. It's about really fast cycling off and on. So you only do it when you actually need to go faster. You never do it if you're at top speed, and you never do it if you're sitting still.
Okay.
You always have to
You have to wait till you get moving, then turn it on so you go a little bit faster.
Yep. And then if you go over the wrong terrain, you end up learning when it's effective and not effective to keep it on. And so you can cycle it on and off very quickly, and it doesn't really matter. So you can take advantage of it by cycling it, but you will take damage. And the thing is, with most Russian tanks, either you take damage anyway and you have to repair it, or you end up never taking damage and it doesn't matter.
Now, I wonder if that's something we're going to see more of with the new changes to the consumable system possibly coming. It's on the sandbox server right now, so by no means fine.
Oh, you could just leave it on and then repair every 2
And having the 60-second cooldown on large consumables, even if you take some damage, you know that you're not going to use it your one time, so it may make it a bit more viable because it is a difficult skill to master how to use those things effectively.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I hadn't entertained that thought at all. What things we come up with on rival Apex matches?
And it looks like RU-251 of Knight is going to go down. Great little pick there by the 140s of Apex. Not really taking any damage either.
They're sneaky tanks, man. They're just the RU was out in the open, plenty of bush cover, and you're good to go. Now here's the push, the press by rival. Everyone out in the open all at once. It looks like the final charge of the Light Brigade. They're going to decide, well, if now's the time, just make it happen. And they drive out to meet their opponent. One final glorious charge. I love this. And they will surround them, put as much damage as they can. And unfortunately, Vetro still lives with 32 hit points. Finally, he goes down. Our rival's able to pick up a tank. Now the T-54E1s, wall hacks, and Nits are able to move in on the flank. Unnecessary at the end of the day because, well, nothing showed up for them to blow up. And Executus will be the final tanker, and he will go down. 5-1 is the final scoreline for Apex versus Rival. Rival managing to pick up one, and Apex, well, bringing some unorthodox strategies, we could say.
But they pulled it off. They were able to still get the 5-1 win, so even when they changed up the strats from their normal, they run something creative, different, fascinating, interesting. Any number of adjectives you could use to describe them.
Yeah.
They pulled them off. They made them work, even while having a good time. Rival still struggling. And you have to feel for Rival because they're definitely in a tough place right now. They have 3 matches left on the season. Relegation is near certain at this point. They can't drop any more points because they'll lose the chance to even pass Valence into the 7th place spot.
But they are an age-old team, a staple of this league. They've managed to hang on for as long as they have. Maybe because Jason was finally departing. Say what you will, but
it's like
maybe
taking the heart out of the team and just letting the blood flow on its own.
We'll see what happens if they're able to find some kind of, synthetic deal going on.
Yeah, you find someone to fill that void, to
maybe
keep the blood flowing to
like
the team.
A J-Smooth Scarecrow?
Maybe.
Like you could put that Snuggie he was wearing, the Cubs one?
Mm-hmm. Give it to someone else, hope that they take over his
just put
powers.
it on a literal Scarecrow.
Okay. That's not going to be too easy to play tanks.
I mean, the face-offs will suffer.
Ox doing 405 fantasy points is still able to farm.
Woo!
And after that, drops off pretty dramatically. Provided 300 around, give or take, isn't terrible, but still not what we're used to seeing, especially out of Apex.
Yep.
And then Rival down the second page mostly. Not really able to get into the fight. Shut down even with all that HP from Apex on the field. Not really able to get off a whole lot of damage. And Randall still has Dodoma on his fantasy team.
Oh no. I've made a huge mistake.
Warned you.